Are you with me? Bear's giving me the thumbs up. You don't get to see Bear very often. Hey, thanks for being here. This is a topic that I think a lot of people are interested in. I'm going to wait and let some people roll in. So Bear, why don't you let me know, as you come in, just so we know that we're live and it's working. Sometimes technology gets a little hung up. I'm going to talk to you about the 5 characteristics that research of the blue zones have told us are common of all people who live to be 100 or more. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, but I want to give everybody a chance to get logged in and to get here. So Bear, why don't you tell me, have we got people coming in? And as you come in, tell us where you're from, where you're dialing in from. I know this is maybe not the most opportune time of the day for everybody during the work day. I think it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast. I have no idea what it is, internationally, but hopefully it'll work for you. And if you are not here live, then you're watching the recording, and that's great. If you have questions about the topic, you can put them in the comments, and I'll come back and do my best to address them later after the live stream is over. So, Bear, we got any people in, and where are they from? Do we know? We don't know where they're from. All right, you're from where you are. And so let's talk about living to be at least 100. Now, the first question, I'm going to give you those 5 characteristics in just a moment. Let's just talk some philosophy for a moment, because sometimes people say to me, well, James, I don't want to live to be 100. Why would I want to live to be 100? And what I can promise you is that if you're one of those people, you're not living a truly fulfilling life. And that's first and foremost, because the purpose of life is to live, and to live fully, not exist, but to live. Big difference. And so you need to find fulfillment, not happiness, because happiness comes and goes. It's an emotional state, just like anger, just like frustration. It comes and goes. Everything comes and goes. But fulfillment sustains. And so the first and foremost objective for me to helping you is to make sure that you're living a fulfilling life. And I can help you do that. When you're living a fulfilling life, it's fulfilling even when you're not happy. Believe me, I know. You know anything about my life, it's been very challenging. I've been through extreme challenges over the last 7-8 years, and yet I can promise you it was still fulfilling. Wow, what a ride. It doesn't mean I want to do it again, hell no, but what a fulfilling ride it has been. It's kind of been like the monster roller coaster. If you ever go to an amusement park and you ride those for a reason. So why do you want to live to be 100? Well, the other thing, because you want fulfillment. First and foremost, when you're living a fulfilling life, you want to live it as long as possible. My team and I have done research over the last 2 years, almost 3 now, of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, and asking them what their number one pain point is. And by far and away, the number one pain point is purpose. Well, purpose brings fulfillment, and that's not the topic here today. We'll talk a lot about purpose. I always do, because it's so important to you and to me and to all of us. You are a purpose-centered, purpose-seeking device in this purpose-filled universe. And yet, very few people know what their purpose is. By the way, welcome to my library. Bear, give them a shot. It's actually my favorite room in my home. All leaders are great readers. If you don't read, you might as well be illiterate, because you're no better off than he or she who can't. He or she who does not read is no better off than he or she who can't. So purpose is the number one pain point that we found interviewing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of entrepreneurs. Second pain point is productivity, lack of productivity. And so how does that feed into today? Well, we're going to get to those 5 qualities that will help you live to 100 and help you have purpose and help you have a fulfilling life, but it also will help you be productive. Because here's one of the reasons why you want to live to be at least 100. At least 100. And medical research tells you you can do that. You know, we're about this close with 3D printing to printing new organs. So, you know, we're this close, and maybe they've done it by now, is that we can 3D print a liver and replace a liver. Now, if you have a car, which you probably do, and you just continually put new parts on it, it'll go forever, right? And so there is no scientific reason why you should not be able to go forever, given the right qualities, characteristics, surroundings, all those things we're going to talk about here today. And here's how it fits into productivity. The secret to being productive, put this in your notes. The secret to doing great work, which brings fulfillment and purpose, is to do a lot of work. You with me? Now, let me repeat that. The secret to doing great work is to do a lot of work. Because the fact is, most of the things you're going to attempt to do will not work. You know, most of my ideas don't work, you know, but how many does it take? Just one great idea, and it will rock your world, and hopefully the entire world. Kombucha tea, good stuff. I do my best to drink it on my fasting days. Today is one of my fasting days. We can talk about that maybe in a moment. But nonetheless, the secret to doing great work is to do a lot of work. And so if you're going to do a lot of work, you got to be around for a long time. You with me? You got to be around for a long time. The secret to eating great food is to eat a lot of food. Not all at once, by the way, but be around long enough to eat a lot of great foods and have a lot of great experiences and have a lot of great accomplishments and have a lot of fulfillment. I hope that makes sense to you. And so that's why you should want to live to be 100. You know, if for no other reason. I don't care about vanity. You know, what I care about is productivity. What I care about is fulfillment, purpose. And you do too, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. And so that's why we're talking about this topic, because I want to help you do something great. You down for that? Because every single one of us, you included, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, is hardwired to greatness. Now, maybe you have suppressed your greatness. Maybe you have, out of societal pressures, been programmed to not embrace the fact that you are great and that you have potential greatness within you. Maybe you're projecting that greatness onto someone else because you haven't fully accepted it within yourself. But the fact is, you are here to do something great. And, you know, some people in personal development tell you you can do anything you want to do. And I say, wrong. You can't do anything you want to do. There is no way that I'm going to play basketball like Michael Jordan. It's just not my thing. There is no way that I'm going to paint art like Picasso. It's just not my thing. So people who say you can do anything you want to do, I mean, that's a nice quixotic, you know that word? Quixotic, overly romantic, overly fantasizing mindset. But the fact is, you can't do anything you want to do. You can do what you're here to do. People who say you have unlimited choices, you don't have unlimited choices. You come into this world hardwired with genius. Now, genius is the Latin word for spirit or soul. You have an innate ability, an inherent genius that you come in with. And your purpose is to first and foremost find it, secondly, embrace it, and thirdly, develop it to a level of ultimate performance and productivity. And so, to do that, it's going to take a long time. Now, you know, in the field of consciousness research, it takes a long time to wake up. It just really does. And one of the things that's always saddened me is that by the time we get upwards in years into our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, then given poor diet, given poor thinking, given poor environment, given poor, mindset, which is thinking, and all of these things around us, movement and exercise, we are about ready to check out. By the time we start to hopefully wake up, it's about time for us to exit this life. What a waste. What a waste. You with me? And so, the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world is to stay around a long time. Now, Abraham Maslow, if you remember him from your college studies, said there are two kinds of needs. There are deficiency needs, which are needs that you have because you feel lack. Now, I don't know your particular situation today, but you may feel a lack of health. You may be facing some real health challenges. I get that. I get it. You might feel a lack of vitality, the lack of energy. Very, very, very common. When I work one-on-one with my clients, even the highly productive clients who are making multiple six figures or more invariably feel, with very few exceptions, a low level of energy, a low level of vitality. If you think you're going to be uber productive, if you think you're going to build an high impact business, if you think you're going to be a high impact individual in this world with low energy, you need to think again. So you might be coming to this live event out of deficiency. That's one type of need. And then there's another type of need that's rarely talked about, that Maslow talked about, and that's called beingness needs. So there's deficiency needs and there's being needs. And being needs mean you are so full. You have so much gratitude. You have so much energy, so much vitality, so much experience, so much to give to this world that it just has to come out of you. You with me? I mean, being needs are amazing. When you feel completely full of the beingness in this universe, that's what really rocks your world and rocks the world. Now, if you're in deficiency today, maybe you have a health issue, these things are going to help you, these 5 things. If you're in a being place where you feel vibrance and vitality and you just want to extend that as long as you can, then these are going to help you. So, again, if you have questions, post them below. I'll do my best to come back afterwards and to answer them via text. There's no way that we can get into full depth and detail. What are you smiling about, Bear? Did somebody say something?
Yeah.
Well, tell me what we got.
Anthony Rogers said your arms look super pumped.
Anthony Rogers, that's good coming from you, man, because you are the man. If you guys haven't seen Anthony Rogers' picture on Facebook, go check it out. It's the only time in my entire life I've seen a leg coming out of a shoulder. I mean, seriously? Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Every time I work my arms at the gym, I visualize you. And I also know that I ain't never going to be you. It's not my thing, man. It's your thing. It's just like I'm not going to slam dunk. Not in this lifetime. All right? But you, yeah, Mr. Olympia. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Throw that down because you can get there. Anyway, you guys check out Anthony Rogers. Thanks. And you know what? This is the guy who shatters the paradigm of the jock. All right? I mean, a lot of people think that I've been an athlete all my life, and a lot of people think that, a lot of athletes are just not really smart, they're not really sharp. No, that's absolutely not true. In fact, the greatest athletes are some of the smartest people on the planet because it's very scientific and it takes a lot of thought to do it right. Anyway, Anthony, thanks, buddy. All right, here we go. Anthony, I don't know if you're going to like this one or not, because this goes against the bodybuilding paradigm, but it's true nonetheless. This research, by the way, comes out of the blue zones. Have you heard of the blue zones? There are 5 of them on the planet. The blue zones, you can Google it, are places where people live to be 100 years or more. And they studied the blue zones to figure out what the hell was going on. What were they doing differently than the masses? Well, these places, Sardinia, Italy, there's actually an island, Sardinia, in Italy that, come on, Sunshine, come on up. My little dog loves to attend my events. You want to show him? Yeah. See, here's the thing. Real men can have little fluffy dogs, all right? it brings out my feminine side. She's a sweetheart. I mean, how could you not love that? Anyway, I digress. We are live, right? Sardinia is one of the blue zones. Okinawa, Japan is in the blue zone. Costa Rica, a peninsula called Nicola Peninsula in Costa Rica, people live to be 100 or more. Icaria, which is a Greek island, is in a blue zone. And believe it or not, right here in my backyard, Loma Linda, California, is one of the blue zones. And so, what the heck are they doing? Well, here's the first thing. They're eating more vegetables than meat. They're eating more vegetables than meat. Now, this goes right contrary to what social programming has been since I was a child, that you've got to get your protein. You got to get enough protein. Eat your meat, eat your meat, eat your meat. Now, I'm not suggesting that there are economic factors involved in, in the beef industry and the chicken industry. I'm not suggesting that at all. In fact, don't even think that there's economic factors involved. But if there were, you might understand that the FDA doesn't have your best interest at heart. They really don't. I'm not suggesting that there are economic factors involved in the medications that are being given for high cholesterol. And the number one killer in North America is heart disease. You roll back the clock, not that many years, there was no such thing as heart disease. What's going on? Well, Chuck E. Cheese is going on, is what's going on. Golden Arches is what's going on, is what's going on. Do you want to shake with those fries, is what's going on. And so, 70%, the fact is 70% of the people in America are overweight. 70%, meaning 20 pounds or more. It's a fact that if you're 20 pounds overweight or more, you're a candidate for heart disease, heart attack. And I'm sorry if that frightens you, but hopefully it'll frighten you awake. Because we've got to wake up and see things clearly. People in the blue zones eat more vegetables than meat. Period. Now, I am not an advocate of being a vegetarian. I was a vegan, meaning nothing with a face or nothing that comes from anything with a face, for 5 years. And it just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me at all. It's always humorous to me when people say, well, I'm a vegetarian, but I eat fish and chicken. A fish is not a vegetable, all right? Come on, right? A chicken is not a vegetable. So, no, that's not vegetarian. And I'm not advocating vegetarianism. If you're a vegetarian, it's working for you, God bless you. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm just giving you my personal experience, and I'm giving you research from the blue zones. Okay? Eat more vegetables than meat. That's not to say don't eat any meat, but, I could talk on nutrition for days. And if you guys want me to talk some more about that, put it in the notes, and I'll pay attention. Because I've been into nutrition and health since I was in my early 20s. You know, I'll be 59 years old this year, all right? And, you know, people tell me, I mean, you can be your own judge, but people tell me all the time, hey, you look really good. You know what really bugs me is when the youngsters go, like Bear, who's on the other side of his camera, you look really good for your age. You know, why can't you just drop the for your age piece, right? And just say you look really good. Anyway, I'm just here to tell you, and I lived 2 years in hell. All right? When I was in prison, you know anything about my story? If you don't, go check it out. But when I was in prison, man, I didn't have one fresh vegetable, not one piece of fresh fruit for 2 full years. I ate meat that came out of a tube. Now, that's all we were fed. I can't fathom. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know what meat God made that comes in a tube. I just, you know, what the hell was it? What? I don't know. And it's mystery meat. And so, you know, I lived 2 years in dietary and literal hell, and I'm really grateful to have rebounded back. And the reason, I believe, is multifold. It's right thinking, it's right acting, it's right behaving, and it's consistency, right? I started when I was in my early 20s taking mega vitamins, and all my friends made fun of me, right? You go out to lunch or dinner with me, and I will pull out my little, you know, vitamin thing and take my vitamins, digestive enzymes, and you know, all these kinds of things that I've taken for years and started in my early 20s. And it pays off. Consistency. Small things done consistently over time create major impact. Did you get that? Small things done consistently in strategic places over time create major impact. And so, again, what kind of vegetables? I like I said, I could talk on nutrition all day long, and I won't get to the other points, and I don't want this to end up being a 2-hour live. So I want to get to all 5 points, but dark leafy greens, not romaine. You know, romaine is okay because it has water content. Water is important, but you're not going to get the vitamins and minerals from anything that's not dark green. Spinach, kale, mixed greens. You should have at least one big, and when I say big, I mean big. When you see my salad bowl, it's epic. I mean, when I eat 2 salads a day, most days, and my bowl is literally this big. My bowl is so big it has a handle on the side of it, if that tells you anything. And that's a lot of greens. You can't eat enough greens to get fat. And again, we're not talking about weight loss here today, but I am just going to promise you that when you're eating right, you will find your perfect weight. You will easily find your perfect weight, and you'll have energy. You see, leafy greens and vegetables and fruits are full of energy because they're alive. Right? Now, let me just throw this out here. I'm a big advocate of salmon, all right, or any fish that has a tremendous amount of oils in it, because you need fat. We could talk about LDLs and HDLs, high density lipoproteins, and low density, and the LDLs will cause heart attack. Okay? And those come primarily from saturated fats. Chuck E. Cheese and Big Mac and fries. All right? But you need great fats. Fats are energy. I have trained my body to operate off of fat, not carbohydrate. All right? Now, you know, again, I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful because I've had a rough go the last several years, but I've done the right things for a long time. And at my age, you know, my particular body fat body fat percentage is around 10%. All right? Now that's, just to give you a context, the average American male is 25, That's average. It's 25%. All right. Now the reason, and the reason I bring that up is because I eat a lot of fat, but I have trained my body to burn fat. Fat is a long burning fuel. Carbohydrates are a short burning fuel. And the problem with carbohydrates, when you eat them, particularly starchy carbs or sugars, is that they spike your insulin level and you feel like you're energized, but then they drop you hard. And then you need more, and so your insulin is constantly going up and down and up and down, and high levels of insulin and insulin spikes cause excessive adipose, also known as fat. It messes with your energy levels. What you want are slow burn, sustainable energies. And so, again, do that with vegetables and primarily fish is my recommendation. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, all right? But this is my experience, and this is based upon research. Eat a lot of fish. I love sushi. I coconut oil. Coconut oil is great for your brain. I cook everything with coconut oil. Don't cook with olive oil because it's not great for cooking. But olive oil on salads is amazing. And one of my great favorites now is cold press is naturally pressed organic avocado oil. Wow. Avocados have great fats. Nuts are really great for you. And you want fats. Fat is not the enemy. All right? But you want the right fats. You know, I've recently been turned on to Bulletproof coffee. I don't know if you've heard of this. You can look it up. I don't drink the Bulletproof coffee. There's a Bulletproof coffee place here in California, and I went there, and it was all right. You know, but it's brewed, and that's acidic. Brewed coffee is acidic. What you want is alkaline in your body. Again, I told you I could talk about nutrition forever, but when my mom got cancer during my trial, it was stage 4, metastasized to her lungs and liver. The first thing I did was say, Mom, let me hook you up with a nutritionist. Let's get your body alkaline, because one of the things that we know is that cancer cannot exist in an alkaline environment. It cannot. Most of our environments, our bodies, are acidic. High acid. Meat is acidic. Brewed coffee is acidic. Guess what? Espresso is alkaline. Wow, what a gift that is, right? And I drink 1 cup in the morning. It's tremendous in antioxidants. It gets your brain going. My mornings is a time to write, so I'm more creative. I'm awake. I'm alive. I'm focused. I'm in the zone. The neurotransmitters are going all over the place, and then I am going to the gym. Anyway, all right. Bulletproof coffee, though, is you put the bulletproof oil, which is called, what's it called, Bear? Help me. What's that? Brain octane. Brain octane. Check it out. I have no financial attachment to this. I'm just telling you this because I believe in it and I care about you. Brain octane. I put a tablespoon in my coffee cup, and then I put a tablespoon of salt-free, organic butter. What would you say?
Grass-fed.
Grass-fed. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. See, Bear keeps me on track. Grass-fed butter. Not just any butter. Grass-fed, salt-free butter. And, we've been told that butter is bad for us. No, margarine is bad for us. What the hell is margarine? What is that? It's like Spam. I mean, seriously? What is Spam? It probably comes out of a tube, too. No. But grass-fed, salt-free butter is great. You put, in the mornings, I put a tablespoon of bulletproof oil, the Brain Octane, which is coconut oil on steroids. It's really better, it's coconut oil and more. And I put a tablespoon of grass-fed butter in the coffee cup. And then I put about 1/4 of a tablespoon of raw organic honey. There are more vitamins and minerals in raw organic honey that I could even elucidate here today. And then I put in the espresso and I stir it up. And man, that is superfood. That is superfood. Talk about energy, talk about antioxidants, talk about go to the gym and get the job done. Right? All right. Again, Let's get off of nutrition. Eat more vegetables than meat. And when you do eat meat, eat lean. Lean meats. I don't eat a lot of beef. You know, I do eat some grass-fed beef and some grass-fed bison once in a while. And I'm not going to get into all the reasons behind that now. But I will tell you that grass-fed bison has as many essential fatty acids as salmon does. And you need essential fatty acids. You cannot take too much essential fatty acids, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is my opinion. All right, my experience. But you want high energy, then you need to eat a lot of great fats and a lot of great vegetables and fruits and rock and roll your step one into the blue zone. Second thing that these people do in the Greek islands, in Loma Linda, and in Okinawa, Japan, and Sardinia, they exercise every single day. That's called a pause for emphasis. Exercise every single day. No exception. All right? Your body is meant to move. We become extremely sedentary in today's world. False or true? Right? I mean, so many people in today's world don't even want to get off their duff from behind the computer screen. Right? And you're like, oh my God, James, I'm watching this right now on my computer. Okay, this is different. This is learning and expansion and growth. All right? And I do that too. I learn all kinds of things on my computer screen. All right? And you should too. Or your phone, if you got me on your phone right now. Because it's just a handheld computer. However, we got to move. Now, I'm working on a brand new program called Epic Productivity. It's a 9-module program. And one of the things I talk about in that, or some of the things I'm sharing with you here today, you do these things I'm telling you here today, you'll not only live to be 100, but you'll be super productive in the process. And you take 1 year of super productivity, epic productivity, and multiply it by 100, and that's called an epic lifetime. All right? You've got to exercise every single day. Now, you know, I don't go to the gym every single day. I used to when I was competing, but I don't anymore because I've got other things to do now with my life. But I do exercise every single day. All right? Right? I mix it up. All right? And exercise is a lot of different things. You can chop wood. You can go out, you know, this morning I took Sunshine, my dog who you met, you know, on a long walk, and we walked hills. And, you know, she gets in good shape, and so do I. You walk hills, and I take a long walk for like an hour, and I contemplate life while I'm doing that. And I do that right now for this month. I mix it up every single month. But right now, I'm lifting weights Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I am doing some kind of movement on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, Sunday. No exception. You know, people say to me all the time, James, you work out every single day? And my question to you is, do you eat every day? Do you sleep every day? Then you better move every day. Particularly if you want to be in the blue zone. All right? Exercise every single day. Now, let me just throw this out. There was research done at Emory University, and this is research-based. This is not my opinion. You have to lift weights. Anthony Rogers, give me a big all caps yes if you're still here with 2 exclamation points. You have to lift weights. Now, you don't have to look like Anthony Rogers, you know, but you have to lift weights. You have to do some kind of resistance training. Emory University took people in their mid-70s and put them on a weight training program. And what they found was that every single major disease decreased dramatically. Health and vitality increased dramatically. Weight training is not an option. It's a must. All right? Now, let me give you one other study that came right out of Vajrayana Buddhism. They took meditators. All right? For those of you who like to meditate and want to be spiritual. Weightlifting is spiritual. All right? It's all spiritual. Because the same animating spirit that runs through me and runs through you runs this universe. And so it's all spiritual. Lifting weights is spiritual, building a business is spiritual, making money is spiritual, having sex is spiritual, having relationships is spiritual. It's all spiritual. And so they took these meditators. And if you know anything about the Eastern traditions, the teacher can tell by observing the students how well they're doing in their meditative practice. And they did not tell one half of the room, but they took the other half and they meditated. They had them meditate for several hours, but they peeled off half of them and had them go weight train. All right, so let's say it was an 8-hour day, because to study meditation easily, you can do it for 8 hours. All right, I've done that. I've been there. So let's say they take the experimental group and they let them meditate for 4 hours, and then they take them to the gym to work out. And the non-experimental group, and it didn't tell the teacher either what was going on. The non-experimental group meditated the entire time. And after just about 6 months, they asked the teacher to name the best students. And without exception, the teacher named the weightlifting meditators. Interesting, right? And he or she did not even know that they were lifting weights. Why? Because cross-training is key. You want to meditate better? Lift weights. You want to build a business better? Lift weights. You want to have better sex? Lift weights. Because your body muscles, you use them or you lose them. Right? Go back to our ancestors. They were logging trees around and building shelters and killing animals and doing all kinds of things every single day. And what do? Right? Well, I'm getting really good exercise with my wrist, James, on this mouse. Yeah, okay. And you're getting carpal tunnel in the same process. Lift weights. And you got to lift hard. All right? I mean, I scroll back through my feed, and you'll see, I put up a video sometime back of me in the gym. You got to go to failure. And that's what they did with these people 75 plus. They didn't give them, weenie workouts, hard workouts. Now, hard is relative. So, if you're just a beginner, machines are maybe best because you have less injuries. But eventually what you want to do is graduate to free weights. And the reason that free weights are so good is because you're working auxiliary muscles as well as, if you're doing an isolation like on a side lateral for your deltoid on a machine, all you're working is right there. And there's good things about isolation, but when you're doing it with a dumbbell, you're having to balance the dumbbell and you're working your wrist and your hand and your grip and everything is working. All right? People in the blue zone, exercise daily. Now, just to give you, what I'm doing, right now, and it'll change in July. I change it up every month because confusion is good. Body gets accustomed to certain things. But right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like on Tuesday, I might do high-intensity interval training, like I might run stairs, all right? Or I might go on a long walk with the dog. And every day I do yoga. Because let me just tell you this. An inflexible body is a reflection of an inflexible mind. The body and mind are interconnected. And so I do yoga postures. I don't go to class, but I do yoga postures, stretching every single day. I do some kind of planks for the core every single day. The core is the most important thing. I'm doing that just for emphasis, and it kind of stings. It's the most important thing that you have. You got it. Most people don't use their core. And there's right ways and wrong ways to do planks. I'm not going to give you that here today because time is an issue. But most people do planks wrong. If your butt is up like this when you're doing a plank, it's not a plank. All right? That's a partial downward dog. No. The butt should be tucked under and you should be flat. So you'll feel it. It burns. It burns. Okay? I do planks every day, every single day. and I do stretching every single day. So even on weight training days, but on the in-between days, I do that as well as some kind of high-intensity interval training. And next month, I might lift 4 days a week. All right, I'm constantly just mixing it up. There have been times where I lifted 6 days a week. Anthony Rogers probably does that, but you got to be really careful about recuperation. All right, now, number 3. All the people in the Blue Zone have a powerful community. And I meant to bring this book in here, and I forgot. But I'm reading a really good book right now called Connected. It's by Dr. James Fowler from Harvard University and Christian Christakis. Christakis is the last name. I'm not sure about the first name. But the two of them have done massive research on the power of community and what it has upon you. Let me tell you something. If you are surrounded by energy vampires, chances are great that you're going to suck. Because that's what vampires do. What Fowler wrote a book years ago that I'm a huge fan of called Stages of Faith, which tracks the evolution of consciousness and how we observe God, what our identity and our model of God is as we evolve. And what Fowler said that's really, really profound is that we've been told that God created us in His image, but the fact is we create God in our own image. All right? Not the topic today, but I'm a big fan of Fowler's work. And what they're now finding is that your community either makes or breaks you. Keith Walker from Washington State University has done a lot of work on community as well. And basically the same thing. Your community either makes or breaks you. The people that you surround yourself with are either moving you forward or they're holding you back. And these people in the Blue Zones have a strong sense of community. They have a strong sense, and community is not numbers driven. I would much rather have one person in my community that is productivity and progress focused and minded. Let me just say, everyone talks about surround yourself with like-minded people. No. Think for yourself. People waiting at a bus stop are like-minded, right? They're going in the same direction. They're waiting on the same thing. And that's not going to get you anywhere besides the mall. That's not what you want. What you want are productivity and performance-minded people. You want conscious, awake people. You want people who are movers and shakers. You want people who are moving in a common direction and want to make an impact on the world. Because you're not here, I tell people all the time, I'm not here to make friends. I was doing a coaching session yesterday and I said, look, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make an impact. I'm here to make a difference. It doesn't mean I don't want friends. Of course I do, and I have them. But that's not my focus. If you're focused on making friends, you're not wanting to make waves. And if you're going to make greatness, you're going to make some waves. Get used to it. So you need some people around you that get it. And most people just don't get it. And so what Fowler and Christakis' work has proven is that not only, get this, and you might want to think about picking up the book Connected. It's very interesting and research-based, is that not just your friends impact you, but the friends and their friends and their friends impact you. So the friends of your friends of your friends of your friends impact you. Now that boggles the mind. It did for me initially, but they break it down how this really works. Because your network is going to highly impact your net worth. Does that make sense to you? And if you're hanging around people who are small thinkers, you're going to get small opportunities and small ideas and small thinking. And you don't need to be judgmental about them. They're just small thinkers. They're not there yet. I want to be around big thinkers. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. All right, I want to be in a room where I'm the least advanced. I'm the least accomplished, because that way it's going to stretch me. You want to be around big thinkers, about movers and shakers, people who take big action, people who are bold, people who take risks. If you're around small thinkers, and it's easy to do, particularly with family. All right, I was talking to a friend just yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, and I said, you don't choose your family. Now that's debatable. Some traditions believe that you do choose your family prior to coming in, but we can't prove that. But you do choose your friends. Choose wisely. You want to live to be 100 or more? You want to be around people who are going to live to be 100 or more. You don't want to, research proves that if your friends are overweight, there's about a 95+% likelihood that you're going to be overweight. Why is that? Well, because you're going to say, hey, I'm in the blue zone, baby, right? Let's go out and have a big leafy salad. And they'll go, oh, no, what are we? Let's have a pizza. What? 10 minutes? Is there a limit on this?
No, you have another call.
Oh, I have another call in 10 minutes. See? That's why I have people to keep me on point. Damn, I have another call in 10 minutes. That's all right. They can wait. This is important. You guys hang with me? All right? Is this good stuff? Is this important stuff? So if you have friends that are overweight, they're not going to want to go eat healthfully. They're not going to want to eat the good fats. They're going to eat the saturated fats. They're not going to want to eat the high energy leafy greens. They're going to want to eat, the things that taste good. Let me promise you this. Your community has a huge impact on you. And I think you know this to be true. So choose them wisely. All right. Fourth thing. They have a low level of stress. Now, I could talk about this one all day long. Because all stress is not created equally. All right? It's just like all fats are not created equally. And cholesterol is not the enemy. There's good cholesterol, there's bad cholesterol. There's good fat, there's bad fat. That's called the law of polarity, one of the 7 laws of the universe. There's good stress and there's bad stress. And the person who's done the most amount of research in this arena is Hans Selye. Hans Selye found that there's the stress that we typically call stress, which he called distress. Distress leads to dis-ease. We know that. If you're highly distressed, you're a candidate for a heart attack. You're a candidate for all kinds of maladies, physical maladies. But there's another kind of stress called what he called eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S. And eustress is that creative tension that is created by the gap between where you are and where you choose to be. You with me? You see, stress is not the enemy. Stress is your friend. Eustress is your friend. It's that call to greatness. It's that higher self within you that's compelling you, that's compelling you, that's pulling you, that's challenging you to move forward, to take action, to take the leap of faith, to do something great. Stress is not the enemy. The enemy is lack of recovery. All right? And many things we're talking about here, when you talk about these people in the blue zones who are doing a lot of manual labor, they're working out every single day, that's stressful on the body, right? When you work lifting weights, that's stressful on the body. But that's how the body grows. Well, likewise, that's how the mind and the spirit grow as well. And so what you need to do, just like, the body, if the law of correspondence, which is another one of the 7 laws of the universe, says if you want to know how anything works, look at how something else works. So if you want to know how to recuperate from stressful situations in your business and in your life, then look at how to recuperate from the gym. So you have to get enough rest, right? You have to take some time to step back. You have to eat right. You have to think right. You have to drink a lot of water. I didn't talk about, but we could. And so, it's not about eliminating stress, because all super producers, all people who have epic productivity have stress, and you want it. You want the good stress. Because, I have a lot of good stress. There's a lot of things I want to do in the world, and I'm not there yet. And so there's a gap between where I want to be and where I am now. And there's a creative tension, which creates this compelling pull forward towards my future outcome. You with me? And what I have to do is make sure that I harmonize that compelling pull with my recuperative powers. And in my, Epic Productivity program, I talk about things that really bring recuperation. Most things that most of us do when we say we're recuperating are not really recuperating. Watching television is not recuperating. All right? Surfing the internet is not recuperating. Watching cat videos on Facebook is not recuperating. Going out and socializing and talking about blah, blah is not recuperating. I'm not saying you should never do those things. Maybe you choose to do those things. But don't think they're recuperation. Things that regenerate you are things like reading great books. They're things like meditating. They're things like stretching. They're things like working out. They're things like getting out in nature. They're things like taking long walks. They're things like, I put my clients on what I call a 90-20-90. Which I won't get in here today, but research proves that you can be super productive, epically so, for about 90 minutes. And then you need to take a 20-minute break. But you don't take it to watch TV. What you do during that 20-minute break is recuperative. If you're wise, you read a good book that's going to challenge your mind, or you meditate, or you do some yoga postures, or you do some planks, or you get up and go outside and breathe the fresh air and take a walk. Then you come back and you're ready to get into flow again for another 90 minutes. Low stress, distress. And then the fifth thing, as you know, I could talk about all of these forever, but hopefully I'm giving you some things to think about. The fifth thing is probably my most favorite. Obviously, I appreciate all of them, but they get up every single day with a sense of purpose. Now, research tells us that 71% of the people surveyed by Gallup poll are unhappy, disengaged, uninspired in their work. 71%. That's nearly 3/4 of the population. That saddens me because you know what? Life is too short. Life is too short to not be doing what you love and not be doing something that's meaningful and purposeful. And if you want to get in the blue zone, you got to find your purpose. That's why I come back to this over and over again. And I told you the research we've done with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs is that the number one pain point is lack of purpose. I was doing a coaching session with a gentleman recently who's 49 years old. He makes $450,000 a year. That's respectable. And he said, you know what, James? I've accomplished all these things in the world, and yet I still feel something missing. What my experience tells me is somewhere around our early to mid 40s. If you're not there yet, you may not have started to think about this, but somewhere around our early to mid 40s, we start to think about our own mortality. And we start to realize that physical life is finite. Energetic life is infinite, but physical life is finite. Even if you live to 100 years, it's going to go that fast, right? And so around our early to mid 40s, we start to step back and go, well, normally by our mid 40s, early mid 40s, we've accomplished, we've done our studies in school, we've found hopefully our career, and even more importantly, hopefully our calling, which is your purpose. And we've had our family if we're going to have one, we have our kids if we're going to have them, and we have our house if we're going to have one, and all these things, and we have our business, there's exceptions, but around 40s and then on upwards in the 50s, we're like, wow, everything I dreamed about and thought about when I was in my teens and 20s, I've kind of accomplished it, or some semblance thereof, and now what? Now what? Because whether you're consciously aware of it or not, you see, you are hardwired to leave a legacy. And people want to argue with me about that, and that's okay. If you want to argue with me about it, that's all right. And it's true nonetheless. The only reason you have kids is because you want to leave a legacy. It might be unconscious, but you want something left when you leave. The only reason you write books like I do, is because you want to leave a legacy. The only reason you build a business either consciously or unconsciously, is because you want to leave a legacy. You know, how many people talk about, hopefully I can pass this off to my kids when I exit. You know, the only reason that you build a bank account or a portfolio is because you want to leave a legacy. And there's a whole lot of other, you know, surface level reasons for doing those things. But deep down inside, you want to leave a legacy. You want to live a meaningful life. You want to have purpose. You want to feel like you mattered. Like you made some impact. And you do. You do. The problem is that we're not encouraged in our traditional society or our traditional school system to find that. What we're encouraged to do is to look at the marketplace and say, where's the market going? What's selling? Where are the jobs going to be? Where can I make the most money? You know, money and meaning are not the same thing. I'm not saying they can't coexist. Of course they can coexist, and they have a greater, here's the irony, they have a greater probability of coexisting when you find the meaning first. You know, I've shared the stage with billionaires. Donald Trump, Richard Branson. I've had dinner with billionaires. Sheldon Adelson, who owns most of Vegas, real estate developer. And you know, I have coached more multimillionaires than I can count. And I can promise you this. Not one of them achieved that amount of money by pursuing the money. What they did was they found their meaning, they found their genius, they found their purpose, and they lived it fully, and they developed it to its ultimate level of performance. You know, Steve Jobs was a billionaire. He didn't even have furniture. Didn't have furniture in his house. And they asked him once, Steve, why don't you have some furniture? He goes, why? He goes, why? I don't need furniture. I'm never here. I'm building Apple. Right? You know, you've seen some of my posts, hopefully. I mean, every single person who has done something magical and magnificent has been a monomaniac. Mono, meaning one. Monomaniac. They found their one thing. Their one thing. I mean, how many horses can you ride successfully at the same time? I mean, maybe if you're a circus act, you can ride two. But, you know, when I find people who are dipping their fingers in all, those are dabblers. Those are not masters. Those are dabblers. People in the blue zone get up every single day with a significant purpose, a feeling of purpose. They're doing something meaningful. And you know what? I mean, you look at some of these small communities, the Greek islands and Sardinia, these are not mega business metropolises. So your meaning is your meaning, right? For some of them, it might be the new crop on the field. It's meaningful for them because that's who they are and what they're about. You know, some of us write books, some of us teach, some of us, you know, are great parents, some of us wait tables. It doesn't matter. Some of us are artists, some of us are athletes. It doesn't matter what you do. Please put this in your notes and remember it for the rest of your days. It's not what you do that determines your success, wealth, and significance. It's how you do it. It's that you bring it all to the table. You leave it all on the field. Every single day. You know, I want to go to bed every night exhausted. And I achieve that objective most nights. I want to go to bed exhausted. I mean, it takes me all of about 30 seconds to fall asleep when my head hits the pillow. I visualize and I'm out. I'm gone to dream time for my 6 hours. I want to go to bed exhausted, tired but inspired. I want to know that I left it all on the field today. All on the field. Today. Hold nothing back because that's all you got. So, just to recap, eat more vegetables and meat. High energy foods. Exercise daily. It's not an option. It's a must. All right? Find a powerful community around you. I can help you with that. I'm really passionate about this. Powerful community around you, because if your community around you is not moving in the same direction you are going, there is no neutral. They're holding you back. If they're not moving you forward, they're holding you back. There's no neutral. No neutral. Number 4, decrease distress. I can help you with that. You know, most of the distress is created by faulty expectations and faulty worldviews and limiting beliefs. Let me just say, you know, positive psychology, which is about a field that's about 20 years old now, tells us that about 70% of the things you're programmed with in your formative years are self-limiting. And that creates stress. Increase eustress, decrease distress, and finally, find your purpose. Doesn't matter what it is. It's that you find it and you give yourself to it. And if it doesn't take every single thing you have, then it's probably not your quest. Secret to doing great work is to do a lot of work. If you're going to do a lot of work, you got to be around for a long time. Hopefully I've given you some things to think about. If there's questions here that I haven't answered, I'll come back and answer them via text. Thanks so much. Hopefully you'll share this with your friends and people who want and need to hear about this. And it's an honor and a privilege. Until we speak again, as always, stay awake, love life, and be epic.